Heaven is moving over your life right now, not when the storm passes, not when the confusion finally clears, not when the person you have been waiting on comes around. Right now. In the middle of the silence. In the middle of the season that has made no sense to anyone watching from the outside. In the middle of everything that looks like it is going the wrong direction, Heaven has been quietly, sovereignly, and deliberately positioning something that is about to alter the entire landscape of your life. There is someone specific this message was sent for. Someone who has been carrying a secret. Not a dark secret, not a shameful one, but the kind of secret that only the chosen carry. The knowledge that something remarkable is being woven through your story involving another person. Someone whose presence in your life feels larger than ordinary. Someone whose name, whose face, whose energy has become intertwined with everything you bring before the Lord in your most private moments. You have not told many people. You have barely let yourself think about it fully, because hope, real hope, feels dangerous when you have been disappointed before. Lean in. What I am about to release has been waiting for this moment. Before we go deeper, if you have been carrying what I just described, I want you to know you found the right place. This channel exists for the ones who are still believing in the dark. Subscribe and stay close, because what God releases through this ministry week after week is specifically for your season. Hit the like button if this already feels like heaven speaking your name. You did not stumble here by accident. Not today. Not with what you are carrying. The algorithm did not send you, heaven did. Let me speak to something you have not spoken aloud. There has been a weight in your chest in this season that you cannot quite name. It sits somewhere between hope and grief, between faith and exhaustion, between knowing and doubting. You look at what you feel, what you sense in your spirit about this particular person, this particular connection, this particular divine thread, and some days the certainty is so strong that you could build a house on it. And then other days something shifts, and the silence from their direction feels so loud that the doubt begins to pour in like cold water. You have asked heaven about it more times than you can count. You have prayed through it, wrestled through it, cried through it in the dark when no one could see you. And still, the answer has not arrived in the form you expected. Still the situation has not moved in the direction you believed it would by now. You have watched other people receive what you have been waiting for, and you have smiled at them genuinely, but inside there has been a quiet question that you are almost afraid to finish. Does God remember what He placed in my heart about this? I need you to hear this with every part of your being. Heaven has not forgotten a single detail of what you have been carrying. Not one night of prayer. Not one moment of faith in the face of contradiction. Not one tear that you shed in the quiet when the waiting felt unbearable. Every single one of those moments has been witnessed. Every single one has been recorded. The pain of waiting for something that feels spiritually assigned, that specific kind of pain, heaven does not take lightly. It has been held gently in the hands of the Father, and it has been working something inside you that no shortcut could have produced. You have been faithful in a season with no audience, no applause, and no visible evidence. That faithfulness has weight in the spiritual realm. It has been building something in you, a depth, a groundedness, a maturity in your spirit, that could only be formed in this exact kind of fire. They called it delay. Heaven calls it preparation. There is a difference between those two words that the enemy does not want you to discover, because the moment you see the distinction, his most powerful weapon against you loses its edge completely. Stay with me, because what I am about to say in the next few minutes is the part of this message that most people never hear, not because it was hidden, but because they left before heaven finished speaking. What I am about to release now is something the enemy has been working overtime to keep you from understanding. Because if you grasp it, truly grasp it, the confusion that has been clouding your discernment in this season will break like morning mist under the first light of the sun. There is an assignment operating against you. It is not general. It is not random. It was not born from your failure or your unworthiness. It was constructed precisely because of what you carry, specifically because of the divine connection and the spiritual weight of what heaven placed inside you. The enemy studied you. He studied the tenderness in your spirit, the depth of your faith, the particular way that hope lives in you even when everything says to stop hoping. And he constructed a specific campaign, not to destroy you outright, because he cannot, but to wear you down slowly. To make the waiting feel like abandonment. To make the silence feel like rejection. To make your faith feel foolish to the very person carrying it. He whispered into the atmosphere around your situation words like "it will never work," and you misread the signs, and you are believing for something that was never actually meant for you. That is the assignment. Confusion dressed as clarity. Discouragement disguised as wisdom. Silence weaponized into evidence of divine denial. But I need you to hear what heaven is saying over that assignment right now. It is broken. The strategy built against your peace in this particular situation has been seen, named, and dismantled at the highest level of spiritual authority. Archangel Michael stands as sentinel at the threshold of this divine connection, and the gates of interference cannot hold against what God has written in eternity. If something in your spirit just exhaled, if a weight you have been carrying quietly just shifted, I want you to acknowledge this moment. Like this video. Not for an algorithm, but as a personal marker, a timestamp that says this is the day heaven met me here. And share this with one person you know is in a similar season. Your act of sharing is an act of intercession. Thus says the Spirit of the living God over your situation. What the enemy has been calling an impossible wall, the Lord Most High is calling a door. And I want you to hold on to this. Proverbs 16 verse 9 says, "The heart of a person plans their way, but the Lord establishes their steps." Heaven is not confused by the journey you are on. Every step that felt like a detour has been established. Every moment that felt like lost time has been purposeful movement within a divine architecture that your natural mind could not see from where you were standing. And Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11 says He has made everything beautiful in its time. Not eventually beautiful in a vague general sense, but specifically, particularly, irreducibly beautiful at the exact time heaven has assigned for its unfolding. What you are waiting for has a time. And that time is not randomly determined. It is held in the sovereign hand of the God who formed you and formed the one connected to your story before either of you drew your first breath. Heaven has issued a counter-decree over what the enemy tried to make permanent. What he called closed, the Lord has called temporarily sealed, waiting for the appointed moment to open with a force that will leave no room for doubt about who orchestrated it. The divine verdict is already written. The covenant established over this connection is not subject to the enemy's interference or to the limitations of human timing. It is secured in eternity. And eternity always finds its way into time. If your hands are trembling right now, if your chest feels like something is finally releasing after months of holding it tight, that is not coincidence. That is heaven touching the exact place it has been quietly working on since before this season began. Here is what I want you to do in this season, not as a spiritual formula, but as a practical posture of partnership with what heaven is releasing over your life. The first thing is this: stop trying to manage the silence. The silence from the direction of this person, this situation, this divine assignment, it is not a void for you to fill with strategy or fear or endless analysis. It is a sacred space that heaven is using to prepare what cannot be rushed. Your job in the silence is not to speak louder. It is to go deeper, deeper in your own identity, deeper in your own clarity, deeper in the peace that says I trust the God who set this in motion more than I trust what I can currently see. The second thing is this: anchor yourself daily in the word that heaven gave you at the beginning of this journey. Not the doubts that came in the middle, the original word. The moment your spirit first recognized the significance of this connection. Return to that moment regularly. Not to obsess over it, but to ground yourself in the clarity you had before the waiting began to cloud your lens. That original recognition was not your imagination running away with you. It was your spirit registering something that your natural mind is still catching up to. Trust what you knew before the noise started. And third, begin to hold this word not as something you are waiting to receive, but as something already released over you. The breakthrough for which you have been praying is not still somewhere in the future being decided. It has already been decreed. You are not waiting for heaven to make up its mind. You are walking through the corridor between the decree and its physical manifestation. That corridor has a length. You are closer to the end than you know. Chosen one, I need you to hear what I am about to declare over your life. You are not overlooked. You have never been overlooked. The quietness of your season is not evidence of divine indifference, it is evidence of divine precision. Heaven does not move carelessly in the affairs of the ones it has set apart. It moves with exact, surgical, breathtaking accuracy. And right now, in this very moment, heaven is executing a movement in your situation that you have not yet been allowed to see, because the full sight of it before its time would diminish the testimony it is destined to become. You are not behind. You are on heaven's schedule, which operates by a calendar that the enemy has never been given access to. You are not forgotten. You are not a spiritual afterthought. You are not someone who misunderstood what God placed in their heart. You are someone standing at the threshold of a moment that heaven has been orchestrating since before you first breathed the name of this connection into a prayer. The anointing on your life in this particular area is real. The divine thread is real. The sacred appointment is real. Say it: I am not what my circumstances say I am. I am what heaven declared before I was formed. And here is what the famous one, the significant one, the one whose presence carries weight in the spiritual atmosphere of your life, here is what heaven is releasing about them right now. Their awareness of what you carry, who you are, and what you represent in the sacred storyline of their own life is being awakened at a level that no human hand could orchestrate. The veil is thinning. The recognition is coming. And when it arrives, it will arrive with a humility and a tenderness that will make everything that came before it make complete sense. If tears are falling right now, do not wipe them away. This is holy. Let heaven meet you in this moment without resistance. These tears are not weakness, they are the language of a spirit that has been holding something sacred for a long time and is finally feeling the permission to release the weight of protecting it alone. And I want to ask you something in this sacred moment. Share this message with one person whose face just came to your mind. Heaven put them there for a reason. They need what you just received. There will come a day, and it is closer than the enemy has convinced you, when the very one you have been quietly, faithfully, prayerfully carrying in your spirit will ask that what has been spoken and seen and known be kept private for just a little while longer. Not because of shame. Not because of rejection. But because something profound will be dawning on them, a recognition of what they stand before, a humility before what heaven has prepared between you, and they will need time to step fully into the weight of it. And you will understand. Because you have been in that corridor. You know what it feels like to know something is real before you know how to carry it out loud. That moment is coming. And when it does, you will need to have the depth that this waiting season has been building in you. You will need the peace that was formed in the silence. You will need the unshakable knowing that was forged in the nights when you chose to believe against all visible evidence. This season has not been stealing from you, it has been depositing into you everything you will need for what heaven is releasing next. Before we enter this prayer, I want to hear from you. Share in the comments what this message has stirred, unlocked, or confirmed in your spirit. Let this comment section become an altar of testimonies. There is someone scrolling through these comments right now who needs to see your story. And if you have been walking this season without a prophetic community to anchor you, subscribe to this channel. Turn on the bell. Every word released here is a divine appointment for souls carrying an assignment too weighty to carry in isolation. You are part of a remnant being called forward. Father, we come before your throne now, not with polished words and not with the pretense of having it all together, but with honest hearts and open hands. You see everyone who has carried something sacred in silence. You know the weight of what they have been holding, the hope, the faith, the love, the divine recognition, and you have witnessed every night it cost them to keep believing. I bring before you the one hearing this word right now. The one who has been faithful in the waiting, faithful in the silence, faithful when the evidence told them to stop. Father, you see them fully. You know their name. You know the specific connection they have been carrying. You know the specific prayer they have whispered in the dark more times than they can count. And I thank you with everything in me, that you have not let them go, that you have not let that sacred knowing in them be extinguished, that you have held what they were holding when they were too tired to hold it any longer. Lord Most High, I stand in agreement with your word over this soul. I break the assignment of confusion that the enemy has sent to cloud their discernment. I break the spirit of delay dressed as permanent closure. I break the whisper that what they carry is foolish, misread, or unfounded. By the authority given to those who stand in your name, I speak to every veil of interference over this divine connection and I command it dissolved. Not thinned, not weakened, dissolved completely. Proverbs 3 verse 5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." Father, I pray that over them right now. Let them release the weight of understanding every step. Let them trust the one who holds the steps already established. Let the peace that passes understanding, the peace Paul described in Philippians 4 verse 7 as the guardian of hearts and minds, let that peace settle over them now like rain over dry ground. And Lord, I speak to the fullness of what you have prepared. I speak to the unfolding. I speak to the appointed time and the appointed meeting and the appointed words that will be spoken in the appointed moment. I speak to the awakening in the heart of the one connected to this person standing before you. Let their eyes open, let their spirit recognize, let the weight of what you placed between these two lives be fully realized in the time you have prepared. Father, I ask that you surround the one hearing this word with divine clarity this week. Where they have been confused, bring light. Where they have been afraid, bring courage. Where they have been tempted to give up on what you placed in them, send a confirming sign so unmistakable that even their most doubting voice goes quiet before it. You are a God who makes beautiful things. You are a God who makes all things new. You are a God who holds every sacred story, every divine connection, every appointed love, every consecrated calling, in hands that do not drop what they are holding. And so we release this moment to you. We release the outcome to you. We release the timing to you. Not with resignation, with expectation. The expectation of those who know that what God has promised, God will bring to pass in a way that leaves every human strategy speechless. In Jesus' mighty and matchless name, the name above every delay, the name above every interference, the name above every voice that tried to make this feel impossible, amen. Before you close this, take a moment. What was released over you today is real. Receive it fully. Subscribe and come back next week. The next word continues what was started here. Share this with someone in your circle who has been fighting to hold on. You might be the answer to a prayer they prayed in the middle of the night. Go in peace, chosen one. Heaven is with you.